What's going on, everybody? James here, redoptionagency.com. 21 years selling on eBay. And just feel like doing something a little different today. Adrian's going to play hockey, so I pulled for him. I figured I'm just going to ship some of this stuff too. So, just do a little different today. All right. Well, after I made my last video, I made it at 4 o'clock, where I turned off the, opted out of that international shipping thing. I've done $100 in an hour 30. So that was at least different. I only had, as I was making the video, I just went up to like 305. And now, roughly an hour and a half later, I am at 411. So I'm at least getting, got more sales in that hour and a half than any prior hour and a half. So, but that don't mean much right now. So sales are still low. And it said it'll take up to 24 hours to opt it out. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit of time adjustment there. So we'll see. So let's just ship out a few of these items. Help him out a little bit. So, change things up for me. Give me something else to concentrate on. So we got a St. Louis Cardinals women's hat here, headed to Australia. Sold for $9.50. Give me something a little different. I think what I'm going to start doing is, like, right about 500 is probably a little bit more, but we'll just call it 500 to even out. If I get 500 a day, that pays for everything. That's all the business bills, all the business payroll, all the outstanding monthly reoccurrences of the business. $500 a day gets me to that. So I think I'm going to start every day logging what time I get to the 500 mark. Because when days are good, I'm there by noon. When I'm just wanting to have an average day where the site doesn't seem messed up, I'm just trying to get 500 by 5. So, like right now it's 5:30 and I'm only in the 411. So I'm just going to start logging the time I hit $500. I'm going to try to look at everything in a different light so it doesn't affect me mentally too much. I have to. I need to start looking at it differently so it'll stop dragging me down, especially in the state I'm in right now with Vern. The slightest thing could drag me down even further and harder. So I got to look at it as long as I get 500, I don't care. 500, I don't care. So anything over that is the profit and the bonus. And I just clicked the wrong thing because I'm talking and not paying attention. All right, let me reprint you. Make sure you're the same number. Yes. And change the printer this time, James. There we go. So I'm just going to have, every day is going to be a $500 quest. And how quick can I get to $500? What I'm hoping that will do also is maybe on certain days, it'll make me go and cherry pick, right? Instead of just putting up the same old, maybe it'll make me go into one of my storage areas and grab a box and look for that cherry stuff that might flip right now. So if I play, how quick can we get to 500 every day? That might motivate me to make better choices each day. Better monetarily. How would I say? Best monetary choices. Is that proper? All right, next up we've got, I bought these a long time ago at Ross. Is there a date on there? I don't see one. I had bought like Princess Peach and some Mario and Luigi. Cars. This one for some reason never sold, and I think it ended up back into storage, but finally sold. Headed to California and sold for $12. I paid $4.99, or is that $1.99? It's either $4.99 or $1.99. I can't tell. Probably $4.99. But yeah. So changing the thought process so that I will be more, two things. I will feel I can have some control every day. And except for, what was it, yesterday, I usually hit 500 every day. So all right, hat box. 6-4. So just going to change my thinking process too, so I can change my mindset. But of course, still be keeping an eye on what's working, what's not working. If you haven't watched the last video that John from Flippin' Ain't Easy turned me on to try opting out of the international shipping program that I didn't know I was opted into, being I do international myself. Where was I going with that point? If you haven't watched that video, go watch that, and you'll see what I'm trying to do. We'll see if that works. He said it worked for him, where he got his sales almost immediately back to normal from opting out of that. And somebody's already commented that they did it also, and it worked for them. So if that makes, you'll know with my account if it makes a big change or not, because you know my pretty much average days, which kind of seems like when I'm struggling, I usually at least get into the 700s, right? 7 to 800s. 800 plus is usually when things are running really smooth. 800 to 1500, it vary within there. Like the 3 days I had, two $900 days and $1,000 day, or was it 2 $900 and one $800 day? I'm not sure. And then the 5 days that had working prior to that, I had a couple of $1,000 days, 900 a day, and I don't remember the other ones. So we will see if, and then yesterday was like 400 something, which is totally crazy, not normal. Or was that Monday? That was Monday, sorry. Or 2 days ago, Tuesday. I'm getting my days confused. So we will really see if I go from that 5 to 700 level, and if I jump back up into my 800 plus level, where I should be, where I feel I should be. These I'm going to, I will ship these off camera just because it's going to take a while. But that garage hoarder house I went to, I got that Coca-Cola crate, and these were in it. And I just left them in there because I was going to basically be able to name my own price for everything I picked up that day. I paid $60 for everything I picked up that day. I haven't even listed the Hot Wheel yet, which was a big dollar item think that was going to be about 70, I think, 60, 70, if I remember correctly. Still sitting at my desk. I got to get the cobweb out of it. What else? I haven't put much of the stuff up. Some of the DVDs sold, the Dragon Ball Z DVDs. But I left these in the crate since I knew I was going to have to make my own price anyway. So why not? Some little milk things. And I had a lot of 7 of these. And they sold for $54. So boom. With like a $15 shipping cost, it looks like. So that should take care of that. They're nice and sturdy too. So we'll get those wrapped nicely and get those out of here. But almost all my money back right there in those. And those were just second thoughts. I'll leave them in. Why not? Type of things. So that's pretty awesome. Oops. All right. Next up, we've got a Women's Secret Treasure 2XL t-shirt. From now on, too, like this one, since a lot of the newer companies, or a lot of the companies are starting to, and this is a little brand, it probably wouldn't matter, are getting on board with going after anybody selling their new product. Most of the stuff I'm not marking new anymore. If it doesn't really make them change, it really doesn't matter. I might price it as new, and then you'll see the tag in maybe the second or third picture and see how that works out, but not mark it as new. And just to help try to avoid some of those companies that are coming after people. This is headed to Massachusetts, sold for $6. All right. I see a lot of people get in trouble with those Amazon liquidation stores. You got to be very careful when you're dealing with that stuff. Because as you know, well, you may not know. Whoops, what am I doing? I already had the right one picked. What did I do? You can get a lot of crap in that stuff, a lot of fake and not real stuff, and that can come back and haunt you. And then you could have stuff like no brand printer ink, which I think it's HP, I think, comes after people with off-branded ink. So that goes for their machines. So you got to watch that. Anything health and beauty, you just got to be very careful with. I rarely touch health and beauty. I just did sell a face cream for $45-50 that Jan got a 2-for-1 special. She's using one. She paid $40 for both of them. So I sold the second one on eBay for $45, I think it was. So something like that where I kind of knew it wasn't going to be too big of an issue. But when you get into razors and actual health and I don't know, it's one of those gray areas. There's a lot of gray in the health and beauty. Music for Gabriel CD sold for $6, headed to Oklahoma. Probably free shipping on that one. I got a hair sticking on my nose or something. Somewhere. There we go. So you must be careful. One reason I wanted to ship too is instead of just come down and pull, is because she comes down with me. And steps are a struggle for her because of her back legs. So I'll feel bad coming down for 5 minutes and then taking her right back up. So at least we'll be down here for a little bit longer shipping. So she won't feel like she worked the steps for no reason, if you will. Next up, we've got finally sold one. I don't have many listed yet, but a photograph I just put dressed man suit glasses as my title. Dressed man suit glasses, vintage photograph, real photo. So this sold for $4. I took an offer, headed to Hawaii. And I don't know if photos are on the eBay thing. I know trading cards are. But anyway, it sold with like a $4 shipping. So I'm gonna ship it normal. Yeah. So let me click on this just to see. Because I listed these before I started really paying too much attention to that whole, first class. So I'm just going to put it in a CD case. I have one with a broken front, just for some protection. Oops, get that out of there. We don't want you in there. You could cause problems. The CD case, nice and protected. Alrighty, CD. Take off the media. 2-4. So the first picture. I used to have pictures listed a long time ago, but something a little different. The Voices of Sandler and Young CD. Headed to West Chapel, Florida. So far, $6.99. Already out of dealers. Better do some inventory on supplies this weekend. Make sure that ain't my last box of zeros. Alrighty, CD, media mail, 4-2. I'm gonna look on the video, see if you guys got any questions and stuff, and nothing sold since I started this video, so maybe that first hour and a half was kind of a fluke. So it's kind of gone quiet again. My last sale was $458. It's $547 now, so we're headed toward an hour of nothing. So it could have been just a little fluke. Because in the 4 o'clock hour, after I'd switched it immediately off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sales in the 4 o'clock hour. After having like a 12 o'clock, 0 sales, 1 o'clock, I think it was 1. It was, 1. 2 o'clock, I had 1. 3 o'clock, I had 3. And then 4 o'clock, I had all that. So, there's baby girl. What you doing? Dude, I'm standing here and I'm like this, pulling. I swear my head's either playing with me or something, because I heard dog walking. And I had to walk over to make sure she was here. And then I went up to make sure nobody else was here. The boys didn't come in or nothing. I'm like, my head is messing with me. But it did that too after my dad passed. I would swear I'd see him go down the hallway when I'm sitting in my bed watching TV, because when he'd come in to get ice out of the ice maker, and then after he was gone, I'd swear I saw him walk by. So sure, it's that whole mental thing that, you know, plays on you after somebody passes. But I'm like, and it was clear as day, which made me think it wasn't my mind, right? Because it was just, I could tell where it was. So odd. But I'm the one, like me, I believe that we're shut down like computers after we die. I love the whole afterthought life theory. You know, I don't rule anything out. I don't rule nothing out when it comes to life, because we're just human. We know nothing. That's the way I kind of look at it. What we think we know will change in 10 years from now. We don't know nothing. We're humans. We've been here barely a day. We've been barely on this earth for 5 minutes, right? We don't know nothing. So in the spirit of, pun intended, of maybe there is something afterwards, here's me after watching Vern, finally leaving the room. Come on, come on. Close the door. Walk to the car. Hold the door open a little bit extra longer. Get in the car. The door to the pet vet. Hold the door open a little bit longer. Come on, come on. Just in case there's anything afterwards. You know, like spirits and energy or whatever, and it can, what's the word I'm looking for? I use it in like ghost hunting all the time. Residual is something that seems like a tape player. So like an intelligent spirit type of thing. If there is such anything, hopefully he followed me into the car and he's here back in the house type of thing. So even though I don't believe that could happen, I don't rule it out. I'm not smart, but I'm not dumb enough to think I know anything, right? So, or know everything, or however you want to look at it. So, just in case, I wanted to bring him back home if he wanted to come home. Even though I don't truly believe that's what's happened. I believe it's more of a mental thing, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. I really do. I mean, I'm the type of person that, like, my mom always wanted to be right, always had to be right. Even when she was wrong, she was right. And there's so many people, especially nowadays, are out there. It's, you know, one way or another. No open minds, no admitting to being wrong, no crossing lines, whatever. I have no lines. And I know nothing. That's the way I look at it, because anything could change at any minute, on any day. No matter what you think you know. My nose is just itching me now. I've been roughing up those nose hairs lately, so they're making me itch. So just in case, I did the whole maybe he's back here type of routine. So Kiss Alive 2, headed to Bakersfield, California, sold for $10.50. But I watch her. Dogs have that extra senses that we don't. So I watch her. She has not acted out in any sort of way like she notices something that I don't notice, right? So I have not seen that as of yet. She's been going around smelling his areas. People are asking me how Courtney's doing. She's always been low-key. Vern brought out her fun side, so she's back to low-key again. But she's been going around sniffing all of his areas and stuff. And some say dogs don't have that long-term memory where they will remember that. But then you see those videos of dogs, but they don't recognize the person. But after they get that scent, right, they know it's that person. So will she remember physical appearance, or is it only the smell that's going to live on with her? You know, I don't know. I'm not sure. never really took a deep dive into how the research behind puppies beyond what they see in black and white. And I read one time they don't have a long-term memory thing. But obviously smell triggers. If they don't, in some research, a trigger must be a smell. So I don't know. Like I said, I've never took a deep dive into it. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We got an offer. Ooh, from Canada. How long have we gone since I got anything from Canada? Before this international program thing started coming around, I was sending to Canada consistently. And ever since they started, so maybe I've been opted in this whole time and it's been hurting my international sales, maybe. I just got a Canada sale all of a sudden. Or an offer at least anyway. Where Canada's been non-existent for quite a while now. A pair of jeans that I've got $19 on, they sent me an offer for $10. In Canadian, it's only $7.48. You're like knocking me down halfway. You got 2 feedback. You ain't getting off that cheap with 2 feedback. Ain't gonna happen. Decline. Try again. Don't give up. Alrighty, next up we've got Star Wars tea. Sold for $8. Headed to Los Angeles. That is a message, not an offer. All right, Polybag t-shirt. I figured when Adrian is no longer pulling and shipping for me, I'll have two of these videos probably each day anyway. So why not do it today? Change things up. Change up the routine, for it is needed. Alrighty, we've got a belt. Amanda Smith, genuine leather belt. Headed to Australia, sold for $17.50. So another Australia. Will you fit in here? Thank you very much. Alrighty, so we go CD International. $17.50, 3.9. $17.50, 3.9. Use belt. Boom, 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 boom. If you guys don't follow me on Facebook, you can, because they have the feature now where you can follow individuals. You don't have to become friends with them or whatever. But I dumped a phone dump from my phone of tons of Vern photos. And I also have a folder. If you go into my photos and hit albums, I have a puppy folder. So if you want to, curious about the dogs I've been talking about in this morning's video, you can check out my puppy folder. But I usually post more there than the community, because not everybody sees the community stuff too. But I try to remember to do both on some things. But other things, I don't want to, my Facebook page is my vomit page where I just put everything out there. We've got an Unknown Roadrunner logo hat. Headed to Australia. What is up with that? Wow. I need to look at the time periods these Australias came through. This sold for $16. Probably Australian, so it's probably more like $12. That was this morning. So that was at 1:30. What was the other Australia? The belt, that was 1:30. So 2 Australias at 1:30. Different buyers. So, Two, and they were right in a row. So that's odd. That don't normally happen. But I will take it. For sure, for sure. For sure. We got international hat. I'm just going to put 12 because I think the conversion's pretty drastic. I'm sitting there and I'm wondering if my neighbors think I do cocaine or something, because every morning when I go to the post office here lately, I'll pull down my mirror and start going, checking for nose hairs and stuff. Try to make sure. How many people you ever talk to with nose hairs hanging out and your eyes just fixate on them? Sometimes you don't even hear what they're saying because your eyes are just fixated on their nose hair. Like, good Lord, why don't they trim that stuff? So that's always been one of my little things where I try to always make sure my nose is well groomed. Even the tops, I'll get the little hairs growing out here. All right, this hat sold almost immediately. I just put this one up today. Baltimore Orioles hat. And it sold for $15. Jan took a few pictures before she went to work. So she took pictures of that. And 2 Minnesota Twins hat, one being wool. And I thought I would sell that one first out of that batch. But nope. Headed to Rhode Island. $15 US hat. 7-2. I don't have no bubble wrap for those milk containers, so I'll probably use CD things and put one in each of those. And then I got air bubbles. Then get a box liner with air bubbles and paper. Since I don't have no bubble wrap to roll them in and tape them up. Unless there's some hidden in there. I'll look. There might be some hidden. I don't think so, though. I don't normally buy it. I just try to get it for free. Kicks 104 FM. I don't think that station's around anymore. Headed to Norway, another international. For as little of items I've had, big amount of international stuff. So that's odd. What time was this one? And so that was at 4:03. This was the one as I was making the video that sold. We shall see. Ooh. Headed to Norway, sold for $10.50. Norway, $10.50 today. Norway, $10.50 today. Whoops, no, it's International James. 1050-61. And of course you want a number for hat. Of course you're not going to give me just a straight number. Biggity bam. An offer. Looks like another offer from that Canadian buyer. They've upped their price by $3. Or at least $3 Canadian. Which comes to $9.72 when I've got them up for $14.14. So, to feedback, I respect that you came up, so I appreciate it, so I will accept your offer. Welcome to the club of buying from the Redoption Agency. Please come back and see me again sometime. And if you don't pay, I will come looking for you. I will hunt you down, and I will file that non-paying bidder. Actually, it's not non-paying bidders anymore. It's just cancel. And I guess the strike still goes against them. Best to guess who? Rochester, New York. Sold for $420. I've got to watch this video back because I swear I just heard like a howl noise. And it felt loud. So my head is either, and he never howled, so. But my head's just, I guess, playing tricks on me. Which I've come to expect when you're either your body and your mind are in like a stressful type of situation, or it's not really stress, but just your body's stressed, I guess, from just crying so much or whatever, you know. Your senses will play tricks on me, at least me, when it comes to sight and hearing. Are they tricks, or are they my body really grabbing into a sixth sense that's there that we can't see or feel or hear? But yet when our body reaches a certain threshold of either serenity or stress, we can tap into that field. And that's what I mean by always have an open mind about everything. I don't do too much. Some of you guys will share articles and videos and stuff with me, and I don't always watch them or get into them because I don't like having like another person's opinion. Like, I don't study any of the stuff I talk about. I don't watch somebody consistently talking about it and just falling into what they're saying, right? This is something that's, in my opinion, if it's natural or, organic or whatever you want to call it, they've got to be from me, not from my mind, somebody saying something. You know what I mean? Kind of like a lot of people will, or like fake psychics, right? They learn how to do things, or people will say, oh yeah, that happens to me, and they don't have a clue what you're talking about, or they'll just piggyback on somebody or copycat on somebody, right? I choose to not indulge or go down those roads of hearing other people's opinions or whatever, because I don't want to piggyback on them. Every once in a while, if I find the right thing that's more about technique or things like that, as opposed to happenings or opinions. I'll kind of watch that. Like if something said, well, if you find, if you find this inner peace, you will be able to pick up on a certain sense, right? Then I would watch something on how they would go about finding that inner peace type of thing. You know what I mean? So I don't like to have like a clogged up mind when it comes to that stuff. I like it to be all like my personal experience and me figuring out with my puzzle pieces, as opposed to trying to grab somebody else's puzzle piece that may be false or just maybe a totally different situation, or, because everything that happens to us, everybody is in a different position in life. You could never experience death yet. You could be somebody who's experienced a lot of death, more than normal. So, in my opinion, like somebody who's experienced no death might have a total different feel of the energies around them as opposed to somebody who's experienced a lot of death, because your mind has experienced that, so it's going to project different thoughts and different feelings and different emotions, different energies. So you might pick up on something different. So I like keeping it singular, if you will, I guess is a good way of putting it. My experiences with where I've been my whole life, the things I've gone through, with the experiences that I've experienced, and then trying to fit it all together myself. Maybe one day, when I'm older and I'm like more slowed down and relaxed and traveling and just going with the flow of things, then I'll take the time to really start digging into stuff like that. It's like, reading more books and watching more educational videos on that kind of stuff, When my end is coming nearer, that like if my end is near now, I have no clue about it, so. All right. I'll talk about anything. Empty Mind CD. Headed to Irvine, California. You hear her over there snoring. Sold for $10. That was like a little one. That was a light one. Maybe that's what I heard when I thought I heard a little howl. Maybe that was her snoring. Oh. Everybody's, their whole thing about Rainbow Bridge and stuff. That's one thing I hope is true. I do hope. See, but here's the thing about like when people, when you die, people you've loved will be waiting for you type of thing. The reason I have a hard time falling into believing that is because why would we be in the same form as we were here, right? If I was dead, I don't expect me to look the same. I don't, because this is my body, this is my vessel, my ship, my robot, So if there is something inside of this being that's controlling this being, after this ship dies, I wouldn't expect whatever's controlling the ship to have any form, if you will. So if people are waiting for you, how would you 100% know that? So that's why, and of course, I don't know everything. We don't know everything. So that's where I kind of stop, where I don't believe it, but it would be nice if there is something to it, And I don't believe in the whole what used to be taught. I don't think it's taught so much these days. Like, if you don't believe, it won't happen after you die. If you don't believe in heaven, there is no heaven for you. No, if there's a heaven, there's going to be a heaven, whether you believe in it or not. If that's just the way I feel anyway. But but I don't know everything. And I'll say that a million times a day. Temple of the Dog CD, headed to Virginia, sold for $5. You know, I really never got too much into this album. I like the early Soundgarden, and of course this was a tribute to one of my favorite bands, Mother Love Bone. Say Hello to Heaven's probably the only song I recognize off this. Maybe Hunger Strike. Maybe I'll go up and listen to this after I'm done here. I don't even know if I've listened to the whole thing all the way through, to be honest with you. Oh, crap. That's all I need to know is hear a song sung about a death of a person with Vern gone. Say Hello to Heaven. That's all I need. People used, like, even not too long ago, like, I like Stryper and, like, Barren Cross and some Christian metal bands, right? Well, if you don't believe in heaven, why are you listening to it? You know, like, well, I don't believe there's a highway to hell, but you'll hear me singing that all day long. You know, it's like you don't have to believe in something to enjoy it, right? Like, I may not believe the Bible, but there's a lot of great stories in the Bible, right? So it's a great story. So you don't have to totally believe every story you read or every, story somebody tells. Just enjoy it as a story, because there might be some pieces within that story that may amplify your life, whether you believe it or not. There still could be, if you do believe it, obviously it's going to amplify your probably your positivity and all that. Thankfully, I've always been an optimistic person by nature. So I think that allows me to have an open mind about a lot of stuff and not get too fixated on, oh, there's got to be a heaven, there's got to be something after death, or I can't be happy type of thing, which a lot of people, that's the way they are just because their personality may not be an optimistic personality. It might not be a trait within their DNA, I guess you could say. So that helps them walk through the day, where just my optimism helps me walk through the day. So it allows me to take everything in with a grain of salt, I guess you could say, and not accept everything as it is, as it's being told, if that makes sense. I'm not saying this like in any way of like saying, oh, I'm better than somebody because I don't need blah, blah, blah or anything. It's not that. It's like feeling honored that I am, my makeup, if you will, is in that position, right? It's like feeling honored or blessed that I'm able to walk down the road with an open mind or with my own thoughts, I guess. Tolan hat, headed to Illinois, sold for $10.50. But I could sit and talk about all that kind of stuff for hours, just because I can go in a million different directions with it all, right? Like anything from like energy, ghosts, spirits to Bigfoots. I probably won't go Loch Ness Monster because that's one I'm 99% sure it doesn't exist as told. Sure, there might be a big unknown animal in the deep oceans that we don't know about, sure. But a big lake, probably not. But, all that other stuff, man, my mind, and how it can cross over into things, how the UFOs we're seeing now are from Middle Earth people to maybe it's aliens from another planet. I've always believed we are the aliens on this planet just because we are the only thing different on this planet. As I said, I think quite a while ago in a video, it would make sense for Bigfoots to be the pedal upright humanoid on this planet, not us, who are basically naked. We don't fit in with the evolution of the planet or the evolution of the animals of the planet. We just don't fit in at all. We may be a mix between, say, an Earth person and a Bigfoot, or a Martian and a Bigfoot, mixed DNA somehow, some way. And I could see us being more than likely, if there are Earth people in the Earth, being a mix of DNA from the Earth people and with the Bigfoots that used to roam before that below. And then I also, like another theory I came up with the other day about the UFOs, because that's all relatively new with coming out with all these different UFOs and stuff. And supposedly they're not military and et cetera, et cetera. Where do we get the minerals and the metals and all that to create all that stuff from? We get it all from the Earth. We mine all that stuff. We mine it. So if there's a race of humanoids within inner Earth, they have all that stuff at their fingertips, basically. And if they have all these tunnels and caverns, they have all this stuff at their fingertips. Who knows, probably a lot deeper than we can get to. So there might be even more of abundance of. So if you're going to get like a metal that's not earthly, maybe it's deep inner earthly. And that's what why these ships can do things that our ships can't, or our planes can't. Oh, I love all that stuff. Hopefully that don't bore you. If it does, I'm sorry, but I love anything that's like that. I love that the way people love religion. People use religion to get them through the day and to talk about stories here and stories there. I kind of use the supernatural world and the what ifs as my religion, as my what if and this and that. And, so when somebody says, I have experienced God in my body and he awoke me or whatever, to me that's the same thing as somebody saying, they heard their dead mother's voice call them. To me it's the same level. It's what you need to get you through that day or that month or that year or that life, right? It's just that the human mind is so easy to manipulate and psych out, and just, I guess that's the main two words there. And that's what's most but most convinces me that we are robots. Because the more you break down human nature and how we, like with body language, our body will act a certain way with different things we say. Just like a Mentalist. If you're watching Mentalist, and what was the show? Oh, I just watched Steve Austin Does America, or Tours America and does things. He sent a Mentalist. And I knew this trick, but I just never tried it. So they took a die, gave the die to the person, said, set the die on the counter with the number you picked facing up, but don't let me see it, put your hand over it or whatever. And you could do 1 through 6 on a die. And then he went 1, 2, 3, 4. And when that number that is in your head that you place that on, your body's going to act different, whether it's an eye twitch, a nose twitch, a mouth twitch, whatever, your body's going to act differently when it hears that number that's correct. So if you like that stuff, you might want to try it with somebody in your family. Ask them to do that, and then watch their face. And then when you go, your number is 1, your number is 2, your number is 3, your number is 4. 1 out of those 6, something's going to happen differently, and that's going to be their number. So that, to me, the way the mind is so easily manipulated, and you can, I don't want to say control, but it's more like a repeat, like it's the same for all of us, makes me feel like we're just a computer, a robot, if you will. So, but as I've said a million times, I could be wrong. And I like being wrong because that gives me new information and sets me in another direction. A lot of people don't like to be wrong about anything. The more stuff I'm wrong about, the more stuff I'm learning. That's the way I look at it. Because 9 times out of 10, if I'm wrong, I'm convincing myself I'm wrong, and it could be this way, or it could be that way. More theories into my head. And if you're still with me on this video, I want to apologize because I'm just distracting myself right now and talking about things I love or I enjoy. Because as you know, time doesn't heal, but time makes things easier. So I've got to distract myself through the next month, probably, And that's the thing. I love being emotionally invested in life. Like some people with their animals, like Jan, she may have teared up a little bit at the vet, but that's it. She's got this strong mind type of, she don't believe in any of the stuff that I have theories on, right? She's more book and straightforward type of stuff. So her tearing up was very minimal compared to me. But I love having that deep emotion with everything. And I think it really was based off of my upbringing of having nothing. Because every little thing I had meant something big to me. Like if I started out life with everything, that most stuff would have no value to me. Where when I started out with nothing, every little thing has such great value to me. So I'm very happy I started out with nothing. I'm very happy I figured it out. It did take 30 years to figure it out and was a lot of stress getting there. But I'm very happy that I started with nothing, because not only great value for everything, but everybody, and being able to see every human as an individual and not as a race or a gender or, what, I guess you can't really say gender because I'm only attracted to females, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think differently of any style of human, I guess you could say. Every human to me is a story. Every human to me is an individual. It's a history. It's individual history. Like, I've always wanted to just write a book or something, or a video series would be best, and just get people's stories of who they are, where they started from, and deep down, not some of the stuff you see where it's just kind of shallow, but really get into some of the stuff I talk about, just getting deep into the psyche of someone. And I think I would have to put together like a test of like a series of situations or something, and put everybody in that same situation or question and see how they would answer it or react, and base that on their history, their upbringing, their individuality. That's why I think I get so mad with people trying to divide the human race with all the different ways they do it nowadays. It makes me more mad about the people who just jump on blindlessly. Oh yeah, America's racist. Shut up. No, it's not. Go out, walk down the street. You'll get off the computer, walk down the street. You'll see that America's not racist. Sure, there's a little bit of racism in some people, but it's few and far between. Nowhere near as amplified as the media makes it out to me. It used to be worse in the 80s than it, hell, a lot worse in the 80s than it is today. But I just, it's like, how do you make people stop playing that divide game and think black, white, male, female, them, her, him, whatever pronoun, or, 20-something, teenager, or 50-year-old, older person, and just look at each individual person as singular. That's what I fixate on. I fixate on the singularity of a person, because everybody, they want too easily these days to put everybody, or to put a group of people in one pot. With me, there's only one person in one pot, and that's you, and you, and you. You cannot put two people, even a set of twins are going to have some kind of different experiences in their life. One may go out one night with girlfriends and get in a car accident, and one of her friends dies and she survives. That's going to alter her life compared to her sister, who may just stayed home and studied that night. Right? So every individual, every little nuance that happened in their life helped mold them and created them into who they are at that moment. That's what I fixate on. That's what I love. And I don't have the time it would take even just to dig into one person's life, probably, and get into the nuances and the details that I love to think about and talk about, let alone do a whole series. But maybe there's a way to do it in a way that helps, it broadens it a little bit, but kind of gets to the point, if that makes sense. I love that stuff. So thank you for putting up with me and just talking off the top of my head. Trying not to think about Vern. So we do got a couple more here. I'll just show you some Tommy Hilfiger capri pants. And that thing hasn't rung since we've been here, has it? I had some jeans paid for. I guess they were bought earlier. Or it says you made a sale. $605. A hat at $554. So there was a few. But these sold for $15. And then I got one CD here. It sold for $7. And then, so I am at $424. So not much. And we're at $630 right now. So I haven't even hit my 500 yet. That's ugly. So we got another ugly day in front of us. I hit 451 on Tuesday, and that was the lowest in a long time. So hopefully I'll at least beat that. Ugly. But anyway, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. I should talk about this stuff live, and then I can interact with you guys. The ones who enjoy this kind of stuff. You ready, baby girl? Ready, Courtney? There she is. The baby girl. The baby girl. She's always so skeptical. What do you want? Are you sure? All right. Thanks everybody for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video. Later.